Welcome to Tomahawk DIY, everyone. I'm Mike. Today we're going to take a look at a problem with our car. It won't start. And so I'm going to walk you through, show you a few different things to check, and see if you can get it to start yourself. There's a number of items that are pretty simple and straightforward that most anyone can do, not hard at all. So let's step inside the car and see what's going on. And as you come in here, a couple things to look at. One, none of the lights are turned on. So typically the interior lights would be turned on, so that suggests we've got a battery problem, an electrical problem of some kind. So I've climbed into the car, put the keys in, turn it, nothing happens. So no lights turning on, no sound as I turn the key. Definitely some kind of a battery problem. Now before we look at the battery, let's say the battery's working just fine. You've got lights on the dashboard, things are going fine. What else could it be? Well, one thing, there's sensors with often in your shifter, so you want to make sure that's in park, maybe give it a little jiggle. There's also, don't forget about your brake down here. Vehicles, newer vehicles, most vehicles I should say, typically require you to have your foot on the brake. So if your foot's not on the brake, or if perhaps the sensor to confirm that the brake is depressed is not working, then those could be a couple problems, a couple issues that are causing your car not to start. Another thing that you could have could be a security system error. So maybe you've got a fancier key that actually is has a little chip in it that gets monitored by the car to make sure it's really your key and not somebody trying to jump the car. If there's a problem with that security system, that could be an issue. Another thing, let's say you turn the key and you hear the car trying to start. It's clicking. That could be a sign of a battery starting to fail. It could also be a sign of the starter motor, like a solenoid on the starter motor that's not working properly. Or if you've got lights going, but when you turn the key, nothing happens, even though you've got battery power, that could be a sign that your starter is failing. All right, back to the battery problem. So we got to open the hood. In my vehicle, this minivan, there's a lever right there. You often see something, a lever down that area. You might see something to release the hood down low by the floor. So to open the hood, there's a latch in this case right here. You're going to pull. Now that will vary from vehicle to vehicle, but generally it's pretty, it can be a little bit of a pain to find, but there'll be some kind of a latch or lever that you're pulling right in the middle. All right, so we're looking for the battery. To find it right here, it's a nice rectangle. Often there'll be something red. In this case, I've got a red cover over here. This is the positive terminal. This side of the battery is the negative terminal right there. Now they keep a cover over this because in electrical stuff, you don't want to get the positive and negative crossed. So be sure you don't set something metal in between your positive or negative, or don't touch your hand between the two. That could result in a shock. Now I want to make sure you're absolutely safe while you're working on your vehicle. I can't be responsible for any mistakes, any problems that you might cause, or any harm you might accidentally do to yourself. So be sure to use caution, be safe, don't do anything you're not comfortable with, and make sure you're responsible for your own actions. Now I want to say too, before we look at solving the problem on our particular vehicle, there could be some other things going on. For example, let's say you hear the engine trying to crank when you're starting it. So it's cranking, grinding, but not actually starting. You might say, well, what could be my problem there? If that's the case, are you out of gas perhaps? That could be an issue. You might have a plugged fuel line, right? If you're not getting the fuel you need to the vehicle. If it's not cranking over, you could have a broken starter. If it is cranking but not starting, maybe you've got a spark plug that's faulty. So lots of different things. Those are generally a little more involved and challenging to fix. So let's take a look at the battery and the problem on this one, where we had no power and what the problem might be. So taking a look at my battery, I want to check first to see how my cables are and if there's a problem with those. So I'm going to lift this up, feel this cable here. It doesn't feel hard. I'm looking for any kind of signs of corrosion, powder things. I'm going to check and see if it's on there firmly. It's not really loose. So That one seems to be good. I'm going to take a look at this other cable. So as I got over here, I discovered this cable has somehow come loose. So figuring out where it's loose, I need to tighten this nut right there. So I'm just going to get my wrench. In this case it's 10mm wrench. It's not uncommon to find that one of your battery terminals has either become corroded, in which case you got to get it cleaned off, or somehow has become loose, and just the connection between the metal and the battery is no longer holding. So that's now on there nice and tight. It's not wiggling. I should also point out, if you find that you don't have bad cables, they're not loose, you might very well have a battery that's dead. It's not uncommon for these to last 5 to 7, 8 years. Depends on the quality of the battery. And if you find that's the case with your battery, I recommend taking it in to a place with batteries. Like Walmart Auto Parts store is an easy one. There's AutoZone, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, lots of different places you can buy auto parts. Take your battery in there and have them test the battery. They'll hook up a battery tester to it. They'll run a test. They'll find out if the battery is in fact performing well, and maybe you've got a different problem, like your alternator is not functioning and charging the battery properly, or you'll find that you need a new battery, and that's going to cost a few bucks, but you'll be back up and running once you get a battery replaced. One thing you can also try is jumping your car. We'll take a look at that another day, but you may just need a jump in order to get it started, but then you do want to make sure you know why it died. Was it just because you left your headlights on, or was there a bigger problem, like your alternator is not actually charging the battery? So let's go back in and see if it starts up. I'm seeing lights on my dashboard. Lights inside are turned on, so that's good. Get the key in. There it goes. Starts up. Alright everyone, thanks for watching Tomahawk DIY. Hopefully that was helpful. You've seen a few different steps and ideas you can use to try and troubleshoot why your car won't fix. Hopefully one of those has worked for you. If it's something a little bigger, a little broader, I hope you've got a good repair shop or somebody you trust that can take a closer look. If you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe. In liking the video, subscribing, things like that, you're helping support the mission of Tomahawk DIY, which is to help people build better lives. You can find more about that on my website. So, have a great day.